So listen, right? Jasmine.
She do. Let me tell you what happened.
Mother.
She said when you talk to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, and he need to stay in her place because he sit at the like he was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
at a bar?
No,
I didn't know it was a bar.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mendeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions. Buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
Yeah. All right, let's go enjoy the...
That's my household in the shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
You know I'm on it. I ain't even...
This is hurting my heart.
It hurts mine?
Atlantis lights were shining brightly that night, but the drama taking place inside a fancy restaurant in Midtown captured everyone's attention. The Love and Hip Hop Atlanta team had assembled for what was supposedly to be a quiet meal, but tensions were already building beneath the surface. They had no idea that a huge shell would be dropped, sending shockwaves through the room. Kirk Frost, a man known for his troubled past and complex romantic life, was sitting at their table. The table with his thoughts racing and his eyes darting around the room, taking in the individuals gathering. Yadi, his wife Rashida, and the rest of the crew were blissfully oblivious to what was going to happen. But Kirk wasn't in the mood for tranquility tonight after spending so much time. After 4 weeks of hearing rumors about me and Jasmine, two people from the love and hip hop scene who were no strangers to drama, Kirk was finally ready to reveal the truth. He had been biting his tongue for too long, seeing falsehoods and secrets whirl around him. Kirk was nervous not only because of their shared past, but also because of the unquestionable tension that everyone felt between them. The smooth-talking businessman had a reputation for being a ladies' man, and Jasmine, Mendeecees' fiery ex, had never been hesitant about her emotions for him. Been attempting to hide the truth from everyone, but Kirk knew he had seen the clues and heard the whispers. He was going to reveal everything to everyone tonight, especially to Yandiung's present partner, who was unaware of what was going on behind closed doors. Occurring just before her nose, the evening began as usual with the group sitting down to dinner and chit-chatting and exchanging pleasantries, but Kirk found it difficult to concentrate on the discussion because his thoughts were constantly repeating what he had discovered about Mendeecees and Jasmine's relationship. Kirk had witnessed it all, and the guilt of keeping this a secret finally got to him. He had secretly met and saw that their relationship was more than just a passing interest, but something deeper and more intimate. Couldn't contain it any longer, he pushed his plate aside and leaned back in his chair and gazed around the table, his eyes meeting Yanni's. The room fell silent as everyone realized that something important was about to happen, and the atmosphere changed from light discussions to anxious expectation. Kirk remarked, "I can't sit here and let this go on any longer." His voice was low but authoritative, and his words instantly sliced through the room like a hot knife through butter. Yandy, who had been drinking wine informally, glanced up at him with a mixture of confusion and... Kirk remarked in a calm but slightly apprehensive tone, "What are you talking about?" Kirk's eyes shifted to Mendeecees and Jasmine, who were seated across the table from him. They had been speaking quietly, but now they both halted, knew something was going to happen. The tension in the room was high. I believe it's time for Yandy to figure out the truth. CK started to lean forward a little, his gaze never leaving mine and Jasmine's as he explained what had been going on between us. Yandy's face quickly went white. "What are you talking about, Kirk?" she shouted, raising her voice as she turned to face me and looked for any indication that this was a joke. Her entire hidden connection that they had been keeping from you.
Right? Jasmine.
She do. Let me tell you what happened.
Mother.
She said when you talk to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, and he need to stay in her place because he sit at the like he was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
at a bar?
I didn't know it was a bar.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mendeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions. Buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
Yeah. All right, let's go enjoy the...
That's my household in the shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
You know I'm on it. I ain't even...
This is hurting my heart.
It hurts mine?
Deep was stern, but there was a glimmer of anxiety in his eyes as he shifted uneasily in his chair. His silence, however, spoke louder than words, and Jasmine quickly defended herself. "Kirk, what the hell are you talking about? That's not true. You're just creating drama without any justification." leaned forward, her eyes flashing with rage, but Kirk wasn't informed because he had seen enough to know the truth. "You think I'm fabricating this?" UPS CK's voice became sharper, "but I've seen how you two have been moving and leading up when no one is looking." With her eyes wide, Yandy's shock turned to disbelief. "Is this true?" she said, her voice shaking as the weight of her words hung heavy in the air. She had already gone through a lot, and this was the last thing she expected to hear.
Let me tell you what happened.
Mother.
She said when you talked to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, and he need to stay in her place because he sit at the like he was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
at a bar?
No.
I didn't know it was a bar.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mendeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions, buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
All right, let's go enjoy the...
My household in a shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
You know I'm on it. I ain't even...
This is hurting my heart.
It hurt.
Mendeecees paused, and after what seemed like an eternity of stillness, he finally spoke, but his words felt like a betrayal. "Yandy," I stopped running a hand through his hair, looking at the intricate laced Yandy, and she repeated her voice, breaking it. "And Mendeecees, after everything we've endured and everything we created, you've been skulking around with Jasmine's eyes, which are burning with a mixture of hurt and rage." The tension in the room reached a breaking point, and for a brief moment, it appeared like everything was going to fall apart, but Kirk wasn't finished yet. He had for months noticed the flaws in Mendeecees and Jasmine's facade, and he wasn't going to let anyone leave this without any consequences. "You think I didn't notice the late night texts, the covered calls? As you were playing games, Yandy was over here, thinking everything was oak, but it wasn't. Yandy was shaking her." Kirk's voice was full of contempt at the way you two have been sneaking around and playing around behind closed doors for months. Head in shock, unable to completely understand what was happening, she asked Mendeecees, her voice barely a whisper, "How long has this been going on?" Mendeecees finally looked her in the eyes, and the shame in them was obvious. "It's not what you think, Yandy," he replied. Mendeecees' voice was soft, almost remorseful, but short. There were times when things shouldn't have happened. Jasmine, who had been silent for too long, threw a frustrated look at me. "Don't blame me, Mendeecees. You were just as involved in this as I was." The person who had been following me to the room was now on the verge of anarchy, with tears in her eyes and her head turned away from Mendeecees. She was unable to even look at him any longer. Casework was done. He had revealed the reality, ripped apart the illusion, and left Yandy standing in the rubble of. Kirk couldn't help but feel a little feeling of satisfaction as the group started arguing and shouting over one another, which she believed to be a relationship. Sometimes the truth hurts, but for the time being, it was the only thing that could make things right, even if it was obvious that no one would be departing the room without incident that evening.
Let me tell you what happened.
Mother.
She said when you talked to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, and he need to stay in her place because he sit at the like he was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
at a bar?
I didn't know it was a bar.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mendeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions, buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
All right, let's go enjoy the...
My household in a shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
You know I'm on it. I ain't even...
This is hurting my heart.
From betrayal to emotional breakdowns to cheating rumors, Atlanta's world of love and hip-hop is no stranger to secrets, scandals, and explosive drama. The cost has never held them back from revealing the most private aspects of their life, but what happens when one of the most important? Kirk Frost, a key character on the program for years, reveals an unexpected bombshell. And as Harris and Jasmine Washington have been secretly engaging in a relationship behind the scenes, exposing secrets on the show by none other than a cast member's closest confidant. Backs of their families, this revelation unleashes a web of deceit, hidden emotions, and broken trust. The drama intensifies as Kirk reveals what appears to be a betrayal too great to ignore, but what exactly motivated him to reveal this explosive secret? Ramifications for myself, Jasmine, and the show's constantly changing relationships. Before getting into the explosive facts, let's go back in time and set the scene for this bombshell revelation. Who exactly is involved? And how did this scandalous affair stay concealed for so long? Break it down. Rashida Frost's husband, Kirk Frost, has been a mainstay of the love and hip-hop Atlanta universe since the beginning. His relationship with Rashida has endured many hardships, including public arguments, adultery, and personal hardships, despite their turbulent past. But when it comes to their wider circle, things aren't always that cut and dry. Mendeecees Harris, a renowned rapper and entrepreneur, has a tangled past that includes his time in prison and his personal involvement with. Nobody could have predicted the secret that would bring him closer to Kirk than anyone realized. Jasmine Washington, who has been a cast friend on several seasons of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, had always been the enigmatic character. With his wife, Yandy Smith Mendeecees is no stranger to drama. Possessing a complicated past of her own, many were unaware that she and Jasmine had a deeper connection than a casual friendship. They had been having a covert relationship for a while, and tension between them increased as Kirk became frustrated after discovering the truth. Ready to make it public, Kirk first realized something wasn't quite right during a casual conversation. Over the months, he noticed the mysterious messages between Jasmine and Mendeecees, and even though Kirk had never spoken to them directly, his suspicions increased daily as a man who had faced his. Due to his own marital issues, Kirk was aware of how Trail might infiltrate marriages. Following a particularly illuminating discussion with a close friend who was also an insider in the group, Kirk was able to piece together that the affair between Mendeecees and Jasmine was not only genuine, but had been ongoing for considerable. Kirk felt betrayed and angry for longer than anyone anticipated, but he couldn't keep quiet any longer. It was time to reveal the truth, no matter the cost. The moment of truth arrived when Kirk chose to confront Rashida with the information. His tone was calm, but his words had a weight that made them. Kirk knew this wouldn't be an easy conversation, but he also understood that the truth had a way of finding the light he didn't just need. Revelation felt more like a storm than a confession, and Rashida was shocked and unable to process the idea that someone as close to them as Mendeecees had betrayed their trust. After all, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was renowned for its openness, and Kirk knew that disclosing the affair would be a watershed moment for both him and the show's future. When Mendeecees and Jasmine were confronted, their first response was, I in particular denied the affair vehemently, trying to persuade everyone that this was a misunderstanding, but the evidence was too strong, and the lies started to come apart one by one. Jasmine, one of disbelief, both attempted to sidestep the accusations, insisting that there was no truth to the allegations. Who had always acted as the encouraging friend was now portrayed in a different light. Her attempts to shift the blame only served to fuel the flames as both cast members and fans started to doubt her integrity. Both Mendeecees and Jasmine were forced into a situation where their refusal to acknowledge the truth caused. Things got worse even though they tried to minimize the affair. The cracks in their story were too obvious, the tension in the room was evident, and it was obvious that no amount of justifications could keep them from the fallout. Kirk, who had mostly remained silent, intervened to further expose the lies, and the immediate fallout was dramatic, and Rashida, who was already coping with her own emotional turmoil, was left reeling from the betrayal. He described how he had learned about the relationship after seeing their interactions firsthand, and the truth was indisputable. Who had experienced similar hardships as she had, the revelation that he had been secretly seeing Jasmine was a devastating betrayal of Rashida's trust and a blow to their friendship. Kirk's and Rashida's marriage, which had seen its share of ups and downs, was now being scrutinized more closely. As Mendeecees and Jasmine deal with the fallout from their actions and their relationships with other cast members, Rashida was forced to face the extent of the lies surrounding her and was unsure whether to believe her husband's actions or doubt his intentions. Members started to decline as they were shunned for their treachery. What had been a well-kept secret was now the talk of the whole hip-hop and love world, and it didn't seem like anyone would let them off easy. Imagine thinking you know everything there is to know about your family only to have. A straightforward DNA test for Ms. Harris changed everything. He believed he understood the man who was certain of his ancestry and bloodline, and the people he trusted the most were taken by surprise by the truth he never anticipated. This was not just about genetics, it was about betrayal that came close to him. The individual that Ms. Harris trusted the most at home had a secret, and the revelation was so shocking that it completely upended his world. The betrayal wasn't just about finding a family connection. It was also about learning the painful truth about someone he believed he knew well. Yandy Smith Harris shocking. Not only did discovery cause Ms. to suffer an emotional blow, but it also shattered mental scars that they were unaware existed. What does this mean for their family? And how do you rebuild when the foundation of trust is broken while it's still open? The emotional toll wasn't limited to Ms. alone. Everyone involved felt the effects of the revelation, each person grappling with their own set of questions. Yandy's and Ms. Harris' relationship underwent its most trying test to date, one that neither of them could have predicted. This moment sparked challenging discussions, unearthed hidden truths, and made them confront the harsh reality of what it means when Ms. Harris and Yandy Smith initially debuted on Love and Hip Hop New York. Audiences were enthralled with their love story. Mendeecees, the charming family man, and Yandy, the driven professional, seemed like the ideal reality TV couple. Their connection was evident, and their relationship was ripped apart. A life example of devotion created through ambition, love, and perseverance in the face of hardship, Journey felt like a true testament to what love and loyalty could survive, since their relationship turned into a beacon of hope. This was particularly clear when Mies landed himself in significant legal trouble. Battles, his drug-related prison sentence, tested their relationship in ways that most couples could never imagine. But despite everything, Yandy remained unwavering in her public support of him at every turn, keeping their family together while he served his time. Even while he was in prison, she continued to. From their personal moments on TV to their private battles behind the scenes, people loved how they handled life's challenges together. Mendeecees was always outspoken about his gratitude for her unshakable dedication, and they managed their blended family, raising their children with grace and strength. In a startling turn of events, Mendeecees chose to get a DNA test for a man who took pride in being a loving parent and found out that he wasn't the biological father of one of his children. Before it was too late, neither of them really addressed the fissures underlying their public display of love. It was a devastating revelation that left him reeling in shock. He thought it was a routine paternity test, but it turned his world upside down, and he couldn't comprehend how this could have happened or how the person he trusted the most could have kept such a monumental. The fallout from Secret was swift and severe. He was surprised and hurt not only by the DNA results, but also by what they meant for his relationship with Yandy. This was more than just a biological test. It was about the basis of their relationship, honesty and trust, and the fissures in their bond became unavoidable as he looked back. Mies noticed inconsistencies in her stories that once seemed inconsequential now seemed to be parts of a much larger pattern. He also noticed instances where Yandy had acted distant or overly defensive about certain topics. At the time, he had written these things off as May's misunderstanding, but with the DNA findings, everything made sense. Yandy's sporadic evasiveness, the way she would swiftly change the topic or avoid talking about that child's past, wasn't random, despite his constant refusal to believe it. As more information came to light, Mendeecees realized that Yandy's decision to keep such a secret from him felt like a betrayal of their relationship, and that he could hide something so serious. The truth was undeniable. Following the paternity test, Mendeecees began to doubt everything he believed to be true about Yandy and their life together, which had once appeared like a beautiful love tale. The test was about the openness, honesty, and trust that should have been the cornerstone of their marriage. Now appeared to be falling apart in front of his eyes. If the DNA scandal wasn't enough to break MC Harris' heart, things took a shocking turn that made him doubt everything he had ever known about his life. Learning that he wasn't the biological father of one of his children was a devastating blow, but the truth that transpired left him in complete shock, and for months, rumors circulated that rocked the foundation of their relationship. The notion that Yandy, the woman he had stood by through thick and thin, would have deceived him went far beyond the findings of a DNA test. The revelation was, her affair with someone else was shocking, and there was proof of it. Text messages and other suspicious information that couldn't be disregarded. The trust they had developed over the years, particularly while he was incarcerated, was utterly destroyed. Anger was his initial reaction, followed by a profound sense of betrayal. He felt injured not only as a personal partner, but also as a guy who had elevated her and believed in her. It felt like nothing more than an illusion, but the news hit him hard and sent him on an emotional roller coaster. Their relationship had always been in the spotlight, and now their once invincible love story was collapsing in front of the world, who had cheered for them. Heartbreak soon followed, leaving Ems wondering if their love was genuine or if it had all been a complicated facade. There are always two sides to every story when it comes to charges of an affair, but its terrible breakdown and the fallout devastated me. I felt humiliated not just by the betrayal, but also by the way their private suffering had become public information. The emotional agony was exacerbated by the ongoing scrutiny. Revealed, Yandy didn't remain silent but instead spoke up, expressing guilt while defending herself. She said that their relationship wasn't as straightforward as it seemed and alluded to its complexity, stating that the stress of raising kids while balancing jobs and dealing with others. She admitted that M's legal troubles had caused a rift between them and that the emotional distance had gotten worse following the DNA test and the mounting suspicions of infidelity. According to Yandy, these vulnerabilities were never properly addressed, resulting in relationship cracks that only got worse over time. Although Yandy accepted responsibility for her errors, she also blamed MES, implying that he was also responsible for their marriage's disintegration. This approach only served to exacerbate the conflict and went against M's convictions, as he had always been devoted to Yan and supported her through everything. Yandy's viewpoint was not widely shared. Some thought she was only attempting to defend the unreasonable, while others acknowledged the difficulties of committed relationships, particularly while under a lot of stress. Many others identified with Yandy and saw her position as a reminder of how difficult it is to keep a relationship going in the public eye. As things became more ugly, the couple's children, who had always come first, were enmeshed in the chaos. The conflict wasn't limited to M and Yandy, it affected the entire family. The stunning revelation flipped their world upside down, leaving everyone confused and unsure, especially the children. The strong belief that had seemed indestructible was now in ruins, and nobody, not even their extended families or my relatives, knew how to pick up the pieces. The children in particular were left in a state of confusion after being enmeshed in the fallout. While some attempted to mediate in the hopes of reunifying their parents, others took sides, thus widening the rift. The confusion only increased as the emotional toll on all parties concerned, including supporters who forwardly backed M and Yandy as one of the most influential couples in reality TV, was now in disarray.